Welcome to SVG-TV News for Monday, October 2nd, 2017. I am Jennifer Richardson with the details. The time has come for churches to show their strength outside the walls of their buildings in their response to crime and violence taking place in SVG. As part of this response, the New Testament Church of God will on Wednesday, October 4th, host a march and rally through the streets of capital Kingstown as they put on an open show of spiritual force against what it calls the forces of darkness and criminal minds in the society. Bishop of the Church, Wendell Davis, said, "For a long time, concerned citizens have been asking, what is the church doing?" To which the church had given the appropriate response that it is praying and preaching. Bishop Davis said the Spirit of the Lord had impressed heavily upon him that the church needs to come out onto the streets of Kingstown on an unconventional day and time to march and pray. He said they will be going through the city with stops at strategic points along the route, with a rally at Heritage Square to culminate the day's event. The bishop is appealing to all churches to join together in this effort to stamp out this scourge of crime from the Vincentian Society. Today was observed as a National Day of Prayer, with a prayer session held at Heritage Square, attended by a number of persons. Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves has refuted claims that his government is taking a nonchalant attitude with the recent spate of crime in the country. PM Gonsalves, who is responsible for national security matters, said it is important that the police intelligence be given the space to do their work, and that it is unproductive for him to comment on every incident of crime in the country.
I don't have to comment on every case. You see what I'm coming from? It's not, in my view, it's not productive. Sometimes, you know, a person may want to say, well, okay, I just want to hear on this occasion some empathy.
Yeah.
Well, that might be a feel-good thing. That might be a feel-good thing. But every time I speak, I have spoken repeatedly about the things which we are doing and matters which we have to concern ourselves about in dealing with crime and security.
Okay.
Maybe sometimes people don't hear it until you have an upsurge as you have had in Vermont.
Dr. Gonsalves said that about 2 years ago, there was an upsurge in the violent crime in the country, allegedly associated with a drug deal, and he had appealed then, as he makes another appeal now, for the violence to cease.
And I appealed then as I appeal now. Look, when you're having these fighting, this gun violence on the basis of associational grouping interests, drug interests, turf interests, sometimes it intermeshes with family. Look, it ends always in grief. So what you going to do? You just kill out all of you? There's some people who say, well, boy, it's not such a bad idea if they just kill one another. Well, I can't take that. I can't take that on board, because every life is important. And then what happens is that from time to time, innocent bystanders get drawn into this thing and they get injured or killed, and it becomes an additional problem.
The leader of this nation said he agrees with head of the Criminal Investigation Department, Superintendent Ruth Jacobs, that there are no gangs in the country, only what he terms as associational groupings.
And so you have absence of restraint ones, domestic violence ones, which invariably are absence of restraints one.
Yeah.
Because just restrain yourself, it will pass. Then there are killings born out of associational groupings. I call them associational groupings rather than gangs because they haven't solidified. I know a number of persons use that word, including Julian.
Gangs?
But they're not, the boundaries of these gangs are not fixed. People will move.
Yeah, so association.
And some involving with these associational groupings, it might be turf, it might be some things involving drugs. And then, of course, there are people who simply make, and I'm not saying these are not closed categories. Yeah, some people just simply decide, and sometimes this is the case with associational groupings, that they can make a living from crime.
And opposition leader Dr. Godwin Friday said his party's proposed social and spiritual redemption charter is relevant today more than ever. At a recent media conference, Dr. Friday said the charter was established in 2008 to be debated in Parliament to tackle the issue of crime, but it was turned down by the ruling Unity Labour Party. The opposition leader said, with crime being a major issue in the country, it has become necessary that the charter be utilized in these present times.
The social, spiritual, and redemption charter is still relevant. Of course it is. It's more relevant today than ever. The stuff that is outlined there are basic, fundamental things that you use to build strong communities, to build socially conscious persons as citizens in our country. We ask about people getting guns. The question is, why are people seeking guns? You know? People are trafficking in drugs. Why is it that this is becoming more common, more prevalent? Why is all of a sudden we're hearing that society is being organized in gangs to do these things when they weren't there 20 or 30 years ago? The question isn't just the mere fact of the availability. The availability is the supply meeting the demand.
Giving support to the social and spiritual redemption charter, opposition member of Parliament for Central Kingstown, Sinclair Leacock, said that it is necessary to be preventative than reactionary to crime.
Next week, we are going to wrap ourselves in the colors green, gold, and blue. And we will all become nationals and go to the park on Independence Day, 27th. November, we go back to our old ways. Any administration that's in charge of St. Vincent and the Grenadines now has to go back to fundamentals, first principles. We must build a Vincentian society on the basic premises of values of life and society. We had the same conversation a few weeks ago upstairs here with the Christian Council, who came to ask us for our input on crime and violence in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, and we refer them to the very document we have referenced here this morning, the Social and Spiritual Redemption Charter. It is preventative. It is proactive. We are not reacting, and we need to take that very seriously. Our parents have always said it. Prevention is better than cure.
Local police are investigating the shooting death of 42-year-old Calvert Pierre of Kilbourney. Reports are that on Sunday, October 1st, 2017, around 8:15 p.m., Pierre was shot in Belmont near the Seventh-day Adventist Church. His death brings the homicide count for the year thus far to 38. The police are also investigating an accident which occurred on the Belmont Public Road on Sunday, October 1st, claiming the life of 23-year-old Aliki Gibson. Reports are that the deceased fell from the motor vehicle T8920, owned by Leslyn Davis and driven by Dwight Davis, both of Belmont. And police are also looking into the rape of a 6-year-old girl from the South Leeward area. Reports are that the minor was discovered bleeding profusely sometime on Friday evening and was rushed to the Milton Cato Memorial Hospital, where she had to undergo emergency surgery. An earthquake with a magnitude of 4.1 rattled several Caribbean islands earlier today, including St. Vincent and the Grenadines, with no reports of injuries or damage. The Trinidad-based Seismic Research Center, the SRC, of the St. Augustine campus of the University of the West Indies reported that the quake, which occurred at 8:08 a.m., was felt in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, St. Lucia, and Grenada. The SRC said that the quake was located at latitude 13.23 north, longitude 61.30 west, and at a depth of 107 kilometers. It was felt 11 kilometers northwest of Kingstown, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, 95 kilometers southwest of Castries, St. Lucia, and 140 kilometers northeast of the Grenadian capital, St. George's. Caribbean countries have in recent months been shaken by several earthquakes, with SRC experts warning the region to be prepared for a major quake. Commuters in the Sharps community will have a more difficult time getting to and from the area, as omnibus operators in that location are engaged in strike action protesting the deteriorated condition of the roads leading into the community. Speaking with SVG-TV News earlier today, Richard Badu, a representative of the Sharps omnibus operators, says many of the operators were forced to withdraw their service in order to shed light on an issue which they say needs urgent attention.
We called a strike today to alert the public about the road conditions that we are having to deal with on a daily basis. We have been promised to have them fixed since April because of the fact that the plant was down. So now the plant is probably up and they get the filter and everything. Mr. Francis was supposed to already made some progress with fixing the road, but up to now, which is like 6 months later, nothing has been done. So we as the van men / owners decided to call a strike to draw to the attention of the public and to the government, and Mr. Francis in particular, that we are serious about this issue. Vans are mashing up springs, breaking knuckles, bushing, changing on a regular basis, steering, clamp breaking, because as you can see there are some very vicious holes in this part. Yeah, and also tires busting. You know? So as you can see there are some very vicious holes in this area of the community.
Badu says it is their hope that the situation will be rectified as soon as possible, and apologizes to the members of the Sharps community, noting that their action is a noble cause.
Well, okay, we had a meeting about 12 o'clock today where the owners / van drivers / conductors decided that we would hold out for as long as possible. So this is not just no one-day thing. I mean, we apologize to the traveling public for the inconvenience caused. This is not about them. They are just a casualty of our action. Yeah, we hope to have the situation resolved quickly as possible. Because majority of Sharps merely is being transported by omnibuses. So we don't want to be off the road, but we have to take a stand for what we believe in. And we're also here to show that omnibuses could unite, despite what they say that we do not normally unite.
SVGTV News team caught up with 2 other omnibus operators who explained the financial strain they are facing due to the severely bad condition of the roads in the community.
With these, with van, it's not only the vans alone that you have to take care of, people have family too. You understand? It's all that too. So this is where people don't look into. It's not only the van alone, you have families, you have to buy tires for your van, you have to service every 3 weeks, you still have to pay a conductor, you still have to pay loan, it's all these things.
And the ride uncomfortable.
It's an uncomfortable ride for passengers too, every day.
And they support the strike?
A lot of the passengers support the strike too, so we have to do it.
As the other operator mentioned before, it affects our livelihood every day because basically the profit margin is very small operating a minibus. Because when you really take it into consideration, you're spending like over $2,000 to $1,500 a month on maintenance. It's not a business really, we just do it to keep ourselves out of trouble and crime. Every week we change knuckles, tire rods, it's overbearing, man. Every week your wheels breaking off and all thing. Studs breaking out, knuckles breaking, spring breaking. It don't really make any sense.
The month of October is one of celebration of the country's 38th year of independence, and Chief Cultural Officer Anthony Tibble says it is also an opportune time for Vincentians to celebrate the local creative arts industry. In a recent interview with SVG-TV News, Tibbles notes that SVG is known as the creator of Raga Soca, and many of the music producers here are sought after.
We have been able through the years to bring to the Caribbean the Raga Soca music. It is something which we hear coming back to us from Trinidad, and we don't realize that it came out of work by Beckett and Frankie McIntosh and several other persons, even the local bands have and the local producers. At this point in 2017, there is a constant demand for music producers like Kobayashi and Mark Cyrus and other persons who the public doesn't realize is doing work with overseas people such as Lester and Wetty Beats and several others. There is a lot to be proud of in us exporting our music.
The Chief Cultural Officer in the Ministry of Culture says Vincentians have also been outstanding in the fashion industry and other areas which will all be on showcase for the upcoming Everything Vinci Independence Festival.
We look at our fashion work. Odini Sutherland just won during this year a number of awards. Kimon Batiste has been on the stage at Carifesta for the work that she has been producing consistently for a number of years. Even when we turn our attention to the agro-processors and the products that they have been producing, a lot of that has regional appeal and they're getting regional marketing. Even our personnel, our Vincentian persons working at the OECS Secretariat, and there have been a number of them over the years, and it shows that we are growing and spreading our wings.
The zonal preliminaries for the Lions Club St. Vincent South National Secondary School's public speaking competition will be held this week starting tomorrow, Tuesday, October 3rd to Friday, October 6th at French's House in Kingstown. The public speaking competition, which began in 1996, is part of the club's youth outreach program and aims to foster healthy public debate among the nation's youth. It also affords them an opportunity to improve and enhance their oratory skills in a keenly contested environment. According to Chairperson of the Public Speaking Committee, immediate past President Lion Dr. Jose Davy, the competition over the past years has taught students how to better communicate with other persons, which is a talent that will always be in demand. Students in Zone 1 will tomorrow, Tuesday, October 3rd, debate the topic, "The quest for money and material things has led to a moral decline in our society." On Wednesday, October 4th, students in Zone 2 will debate the topic, "The prevalence of a criminal culture among young people is a serious indictment of parenting in St. Vincent and the Grenadines." Students in Zone 3 will debate the topic, "While evidence of climate change abounds, regional policymakers continue to cast doubts on the human contribution to environmental degradation." This will take place on Thursday, October 5th. The zonal preliminaries will conclude on Friday, October 6th, when students in Zone 4 will debate the topic, "The lack of professionalism and good work ethics is a major impediment to national productivity." The zonal preliminaries will begin at 1:30 p.m. daily. The top 6 public speakers will be selected to go on to represent their schools in the finals of the competition, which will take place on Wednesday, the 25th October 2017 at the Methodist Church Hall in Kingstown.